Am I the bad guy for yelling at my dad for never telling me that I had a sister? So I, 16 male, was yelling at my dad, 47 male, last night because of this. Pretty much, my mom passed away a week ago and the funeral is in a week, so we're all in a bad way right now. The day my mom passed, there was this lady that I'd never seen before, crying by her side holding her hand in the hospital. What was even weirder was that she was calling her mommy. I was confused, but I didn't say anything. Then, after my mom passed, she hugged my dad and called him daddy, and kept saying sorry to him. She left the room with my dad, and I haven't even seen her again, or even my dad for a few hours. My dad wouldn't tell me anything about her when I asked. Finally, I asked my grandpa who she was, and he was surprised my dad didn't tell me. Pretty much, my dad and mom were high school sweethearts, this much I knew, and my mom got pregnant when she was young. They had a girl named Jane, who is the lady I saw, that they gave up to my dad's cousin. When I was a baby, Jane and my mom got into a bad argument over my parents having more kids, and they then went no contact. My dad noticed me sulking all week, and when he finally asked what was up, and if I was going to do a eulogy last night, I kind of lost it. He never told me about her. There's this big part of my family that I never even knew about. Even if she doesn't want anything to do with me, why didn't he tell me that? He didn't say anything to me, but my aunt heard and chewed me out. Since then, I felt terrible. And I know I didn't take my dad's feelings into account. I really feel like I shouldn't have yelled at him, and I should have handled it differently. And now for the top comments. Not the bad guy. This was never going to be a pleasant or easy conversation. However, your dad, and, I'm sorry to say, your mom, selfishly decided that their comfort was more important than telling you the truth. So they never told you about your sister, and then it came out at what was probably the worst time, and in the worst way possible for you to hear about it. Of course you are upset. You are entitled to be upset. I am so sorry. Not the bad guy. I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. For you and everyone in your family. I don't think it's fair that you weren't warned before you walked in, or at least kept away, while she said goodbye, if no one has had any intention of letting you know what was happening. I've lost a parent, 15 at the time, and that's already so much stress and pain, without an added bomb on top of it. Not the bad guy. I have some sympathy for them. Teenage pregnancies are hard, and they were probably under a lot of pressure, and that doesn't just go away. But neither do your perfectly valid feelings, especially as this information was dumped on you, as you are grieving. You should try and speak to your father, and to your sister. But having a big reaction to a big situation is not something you should feel too bad about. Your aunt needs to control herself. Not the bad guy. I found out, by accident, that I have a half-brother, by my dad, when I was 13. 8 years later, I was the one who called him when Dad had a heart attack and a stroke. And again a week later to say he should come say goodbye because the hospital called me. I can't imagine having to go through the trauma of learning about him at the same time as coping with losing a parent. Your father is being very unfair to you here, and I'm sorry that you're going through all this, at the moment. And now for the update. Am I the bad guy for yelling at my dad for never telling me that I had a sister? Thanks to everyone who said I wasn't wrong. And it gave me confidence to talk to my dad. We both apologized to each other, but we didn't talk about it anymore cause Dad said he only could if she wanted to. Anyway, I didn't see Jane again until the funeral, where she came with a little baby. I have a niece too. We were all crying but she gave her baby to my dad and was crying worse than everyone else, screaming mommy, and just hugging her body until my cousin got her to sit. So. It was me to my dad's left and her to his right. So weird to type about now, but I couldn't before. But I managed to be calm enough to give a eulogy. Didn't want to, but my grandpa begged me to. And I couldn't say no to him. I gave a short one. About how much I loved Mom, how she's with my baby sister and big brother now, and how we'll never forget. Afterward, all close family went home, and we watched videos of Mom as a kid. There Jane told me I gave a good speech, let me hold my niece, and gave me a kiss on the forehead before she left. That was it, till a week after, when Dad called her over and had us sit down. He gave us both our birthstone rings with Mom's ashes and the rocks. And then told us he's sick too, and has till August really, and didn't tell us 'cause of Mom. He said the house is split between us, but I'll have to move to my grandparents across the country. Said he wanted to spend as much time with us before he goes. And we really have been. We've been trying to make it the best time possible. I've gotten to know Jane better since then, but she acts more like an aunt to me than a sister. But it is nice, I guess, to have someone. Plus I love my niece a lot. She looks just like my baby sister did. Yesterday Jane said she wanted me to move in with her instead, after summer, 'cause she doesn't want us to be separated at all 'cause of her anymore. But I don't know if I will. I know it's a sad update, but I gotta be optimistic 'cause I got a big sister now. And I got a niece, and I love them. So I'm just trying to be happy as I can before I gotta cry again. And now for the top comments. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but I am also glad to hear that you are developing a relationship with your sister and niece. It's nice she wants you to move in. I think it would be good for you to give it a trial run. If it doesn't work out, then you could always move to your grandparents' house. But it's totally up to you. Good luck, Op. And I wish you the best. Goodness. You've gone through so much. You lost a sister and a brother, then your mother, then learned of a much older sister and a niece. And now you're losing your dad? That's too much for one kid to be expected to bear. But I'm glad you are seeing a therapist, and I hope you will do okay moving with your grandparents. Do keep us updated if you'd like. As an older sister that didn't meet my siblings until way later in life, I can tell you that she means well and wants the absolute best for you. I think that you should, maybe have some trials of spending a weekend or even a week at her house, to see how you feel. My condolences for your mom, and I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. I know he's so happy to have his children with him daily, as I have moved in with my dad and siblings recently to help out. I wish you and your family all the best in this situation. You're so strong, remember that. Remember also that no matter how strong we are, it's okay to cry. Sending you virtual hugs. I'm so sorry for your loss. May you have amazing memories that will last you forever. P.S. I lost my dad 10 years ago and I lost the phone that had voicemails from him. Now I miss his voice so much. My point I guess is, to try and keep voice messages from your parents, you never know when you'll want to hear them. And now to the next story. Am I the bad guy for not lending money to my partner's family? I feel bad about this one. But I don't think it's right to keep bailing them out. My partner, 24 female, and her family have always been terrible with money, spending beyond their means, and never having enough for basic bills and necessities. I managed to get my partner on the right track. She now has a budget and lives within her means, and finds it a lot less stressful and more manageable. However, every month, for the last year, she always has to lend money to her mom, sister and brother, individually, so they can pay their bills. In my eyes, it's her money. If she wants to help them, sure, it's her family and I understand. However, it's been going on so long that I think they rely on her and expect it from her now, so don't do anything to fix their budgets and fix the actual cause of their issues. Last month, my partner had to spend a bit more than usual because she got a flat tire. I won't bore you with the details. But anyway, her family asked for money again and my partner asked if I could lend it instead. I said yes, because I knew my partner was in a tight spot this month, but I told her to tell them to make a budget so they could live in their means, and not rely on our money. In total I lent out around £150 to them. I finally got this money back a few weeks ago, but it became very obvious my partner gave me it out of her budget, as she was starting to struggle herself this month. I asked her about this and she told me not to worry, since I got my money. Fast forward to today, and all three of them are asking for money again, which shocks me, because it's the middle of the month. My partner can't afford it. Obviously because she had to front their £150 payment to me. And asked me again if I could lend it. This time I said no. I said, if we keep bailing them out, they'll never learn. My partner begged me and said they need it for petrol and groceries. And I asked for a complete list of all bills they need to pay each month. How much they earn and why they cannot afford such basics. My partner said she wasn't going to ask for this off them because it's embarrassing for them. But did say she knew two of them had stayed in expensive hotels for Valentine's Day and spent a fair bit of money on them. That was the final nail in the coffin for me. I said no. They are now saying that they will be unable to get to work and pay for the electric bill/car payments. I feel bad. My partner says she understands, but I know she's hurt and sad for them and doesn't want them to struggle. Am I the bad guy for this? And now for the top comments. Not the bad guy. Can you send them a link to money management courses? Maybe offer to sponsor them in those? But you are correct, in that enabling their poor money management means that it absolutely will continue. Not the bad guy. They have already become dependent on getting money from your partner. However, this is all the signs of accelerating, and, if you kept saying yes, the requests for money from you would keep coming in month after month. It is good that you said no. When it would be easier, as opposed to later, when it became a pattern. They may have an emergency now, but it sounds like there will always be an emergency when they need to ask for money. Not the bad guy. You and your partner are not their extra ATM. It is one thing to bail family out of an occasional tight spot. It is another thing entirely when money from you and your partner become a relied-on line item in their income every month. You have asked for the very minimum, that they start to get their financials in order. Your partner isn't even willing to ask them that, because it might embarrass them? Wow. Most people would find going to relatives, hat in hand every month for a handout, would be what embarrassed them. In any case, while I feel for your partner, stick to your guns and don't give them any more money. It will be best for all of you in the long run. Let us know how it goes. Not the bad guy. They aren't struggling by bad luck or circumstances. They are struggling because they spent money they knew they needed for food, on luxuries. And they felt comfortable doing that because they have learned she'll bail them out. I'm sure she is a very nice person in general, but she is enabling them, and honestly, it's only going to get worse if she doesn't learn to say no. I'd reiterate the offer to help them sort out their finances, but honestly, it doesn't sound like they are ready to be responsible.